Since the new year, China has started to put pressure on Korea, demanding that Korea adhere to the One China principle. It seems that this is to demand a clear stance regarding President Lee Jae-myung's state visit to China from January 4th to 7th. Today, let's take a closer look at this issue. Let's get right to it. This time, China put pressure on Korea on December 31st. Wang Yi, Chinese Politburo member and foreign minister, called Foreign Minister Cho Hyun to coordinate the agenda before the January 4th Korea-China summit. Foreign Minister Wang Yi said Korea-China relations are back to normal and openly criticized Japan, noting some Japanese political forces seek to rewrite history and glorify past invasions and colonial rule. He said he believes that Korea will maintain a responsible attitude toward history and its people, show the right stance, and uphold international justice. At the same time, he also put pressure on Korea. He urged Korea to strictly follow the One China principle on the Taiwan issue. Foreign Minister Cho Hyun said President Lee Jae-myung values cooperation with China and is committed to developing Korea-China relations. He also reaffirmed Korea's unchanged respect for the One China policy. Director Wee Sung-ra of the National Security Office also brought this up at a January 2nd press briefing. The Korean government reaffirmed its respect for the One China policy and will act accordingly. This isn't the first time China has applied such pressure, is it? On December 22, South Korea and the United States discussed implementing leader agreements, such as building Korean nuclear submarines and uranium enrichment. In response, they pushed back and put pressure on South Korea. Lin Jen, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, said on December 22 that China hopes South Korea approaches its nuclear submarine cooperation with the United States cautiously. China, via state media and other outlets, has warned that South Korea's nuclear submarine development threatens its security, steadily increasing pressure. But while North Korea develops nuclear submarines, China stays silent. From January 4th to 7th, President Lee Jae-myung will visit China. China is pressuring South Korea to join the anti-Japan front, putting South Korea in a tough spot. The conflict between Japan and China is escalating. China continues drills around Taiwan, increasing pressure. Now, China is also urging South Korea, previously watching quietly, to declare its stance. South Korea has only given a general opinion. As the pressure on Taiwan intensifies, it is expected that the pressure on South Korea will also increase, which is causing more concerns for South Korean diplomacy. In addition, it is said that the issue of structures in the West Sea and other matters will be discussed at the South Korea-China summit. Meanwhile, the current favorability toward China is reaching its lowest point. A Chosun Ilbo and Seoul National University survey found favorability toward China is now half what it was 10 years ago. As recently as 2015, favorability toward China was at 23.1, making it the country with the highest favorability after the United States. However, now it has been cut in half to 12.9. This is due to China's ongoing pressure on Korea. 56.8% of people responded negatively about China, with 29.5% saying very negative. Among them, the younger generation aged 18 to 29 viewed China very negatively. The negative perception of China among this age group reached an astonishing 91%. China's pressure on Taiwan is increasing rapidly, unlike before. It's no longer just diplomatic warnings or political messages. Military actions are now routinely used. The Chinese military officially announced that around the 31st, it would conduct large-scale military exercises and live-fire drills in 5 maritime and air zones surrounding Taiwan. This announcement itself is already serving as a strong signal of pressure not only on Taiwan, but also on neighboring countries and the international community. Looking at the details of the exercises released by the Chinese military, their intentions are quite blatant. They said the Navy and Air Force's combat patrols aim to gain full control, blockade key ports and areas, and create layered containment on the outskirts. This is being assessed not as a simple defensive exercise, but as an operational scenario that closely assumes an actual conflict situation. Blockading ports and containment are common military tactics to isolate Taiwan, aiming to cripple its economy and military supplies during a crisis. This is being cited as the closest case to Taiwan among recent exercises conducted by China. 35 Chinese military aircraft crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait, and 13 warships entered Taiwan's contiguous zone. And it is known that the scope of this exercise is the largest among all the exercises conducted so far. They even launched drones and uploaded footage of downtown Taipei, the capital. China sent a warning demonstrating they could take air control over Taipei. Also, 27 Chinese military rockets landed in northern and southwestern Taiwanese waters. The United States is taking China's recent military drills around Taiwan seriously. The United States government criticized China's military actions, saying they are raising regional tensions. The United States State Department said China's military actions toward Taiwan and neighbors are raising tensions, not stabilizing the situation. The United States reaffirmed its strong support for peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and firmly opposes any unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force or coercion. This statement is particularly significant as it marks the first official response from the Trump administration regarding China's military drills encircling Taiwan. The United States breaking its silence and making a public statement suggests it sees China's recent actions as very serious. From the United States' perspective, isn't this issue about more than just Taiwan? The Taiwan Strait has already become the front line of strategic competition between the United States and China, and instability in this region will immediately affect the security landscape of all of East Asia. The United States views China's pressure on Taiwan as an attempt to reshape power, warning that unchecked, it could trigger a domino effect on allies like Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines. That's why the United States stresses its opposition to changing the status quo, signaling to China it won't tolerate any forceful changes. South Korea's role is important to the United States in this process. South Korea, located behind the Taiwan Strait, is a key part of regional security through the United States Forces Korea and the Republic of Korea, United States alliance. If a crisis happens in the Taiwan Strait, South Korea's role will be crucial for military, logistics, and strategy. If South Korea is too passive on the Taiwan issue, the United States will likely question its trust in the alliance. This is exactly why a single word or expression is interpreted not just as diplomatic rhetoric, but as a strategic signal. The main reason for increased Chinese military activity is United States arms sales to Taiwan. The United States recently approved a major arms sale to Taiwan, including high-mobility artillery rocket system, loitering munitions, and drones, totaling about 16.4 trillion won, one of its largest single deals with Taiwan. Given the Trump administration's 2019 F-16 sale, valued at 11.8 trillion won, this new arms package is likely the largest ever. The main reason China reacted so sensitively is because of the nature of the weapons being sold. High-mobility artillery rocket system is a weapon system whose power has already been proven through the war in Ukraine. It is a long-range strike system that combines both mobility and accuracy. The addition of Javelin anti-tank missiles and suicide drones is seen as further strengthening Taiwan's layered defense. These weapons would inevitably pose a significant burden if the Chinese military attempts an amphibious landing or large-scale maneuver operations. From China's perspective, such arms sales can only be seen as effectively supporting Taiwan's pro-independence stance. The Zhu government has defined the Taiwan issue as a domestic matter and has shown strong opposition to the intervention of external forces. The prevailing interpretation is that this military exercise is not just a simple show of force, but rather a warning message aimed at both the United States and Taiwan. Analysis suggests actions are meant to show that ongoing arms sales could lead to increased military pressure. Taiwan's response is also notable. Lin Jiaryong, Taiwan's foreign minister, thanked the United States for its ongoing support of regional security and Taiwan's self-defense through the arms sale. He noted that the United States is implementing its policy of valuing Taiwan's strategic role in its new security strategy and preventing conflict in the Taiwan Strait by boosting military power, and welcomed this. This shows that Taiwan perceives United States support not as a short-term transaction, but as a long-term security guarantee. Now, the situation is no longer just between China and Taiwan, but affects the whole international order, including the United States. China displays military strength with exercises, while the United States seeks balance by selling arms to boost Taiwan's defense. The Taiwan Strait is becoming a volatile powder keg, where even minor errors could destabilize the region. Going forward, the direction of China's additional exercises and the United States' follow-up measures, as well as the choices Taiwan makes in between, are expected to be key variables in shaping the security landscape of East Asia. China is pressuring Korea. What are your thoughts? Share in the comments. Thanks for watching.